Hey, Bobby Manning here, outside Fiserv Forum and the Bucks practice facility right across the street. We just got practices from both the Celtics and the Bucks. It's adjustment time, film time, short window for switching things up or going over some film, as I'm sure both teams did here. Bucks sounded like they actually got out and were doing some action on the court. Celtics a little briefer today. Josue Pavon with me here, was in on Celtics practice. I just got out of the Bucks side. And what's the focus for the Celtics after the Game 3 loss?
I think it's about the defense, Bobby. You know, having that defense catapult into the offense, you know, that's what's been the story of this team. That's sort of been their identity, you know, that tough tenacity, that defense. We have to see that throughout. The third quarter was what Ime talked about the most. You know, the Bucks obviously got out in a hurry. You know, they limited the Celtics to a dozen points, and the Celtics were able to bounce back in that fourth quarter. But obviously down the stretch, as Ime put it, they can't leave it to the officials. When you put yourself in that situation, that's what happens, you know, especially in the postseason. So I like what Ime had to say. I'm sure that these guys saw a lot of film, you know, going over sets and practicing and things like that. So hopefully they can make those proper adjustments for Game 4.
Guarding Giannis is going to be the key. 42 points in Game 3. Yeah. He was able to get wherever he wanted, initiate contact, sent guys to the floor, and finished inside smoothly. The Celtics have said all along that they want to mix up the looks on him and keep a bunch of different defenders in front of him. But when he was able to pick his matchups in Game 2, I looked at the numbers before we got here. Giannis 7 of 7 in this series against Jaylen Brown when he's able to get that matchup. Had great success against Grant Williams in this most recent game. And when the Celtics double, he's going to pass out of it. The Bucks weren't able to kill Boston with the three-point shot in Game 3. Is that where they head next, sending more doubles Giannis's way and making him pass?
I think so, and being wary of the switching and making sure that you're throwing different guys at him. I think that's going to be the approach, you know, heading into Game 4. I thought it was funny when you asked Coach Budenholzer about that approach, and he was sort of like, "Well, Giannis going to do Giannis," and you know that healthy balance of not falling into, you know, committing offensive fouls and you know, adding that pressure that led to guys like, you know, big men from the Celtics getting into foul trouble, you know, finding that healthy balance. And I feel like he didn't want to release the secrets. You know, he's like, well, wait, just let Giannis play. You know, things are going well right now. We're hoping that carries over into Game 4. And I think that for a big reason, that's why the Celtics are going to have to throw different bodies at him. You know, obviously shade him, but not always double team him where you can always find an open guy, and that's when the offense can really get rolling for the Bucks.
It's a tough balance for sure, and Giannis, he's going to get his points. So far, they've shut the other guys down, so they're keeping him off balance a little bit, making sure Bobby Portis's and Pat Connaughton's, Grayson Allen's of the world aren't killing them. So defense seems to be all right. Jayson Tatum is the guy who's just in such a flux right now, and I think Udoka's talked a lot about this series of getting quality screens for him, and he's still not seeing that, whether it's Robert Williams, Al Horford, Grant Williams, those guys going. By contrast, the Bucks, you hear George Hill talking at practice, they're setting great screens for Giannis, letting him get those mismatches. So I know it's a little thing, but screening actually seems to be the difference in this series so far, setting good picks.
Absolutely, creating space, and that you know, you can say the same thing about Jayson Tatum, but I just feel like the defense when they're out on the run, when they're forcing turnovers, when they're, you know, gathering defensive stop after defensive stop, that opens things up for Tatum, you know, naturally. And you can say the same thing about the Bucks, but this kind of thing happens to superstars, right? Especially in the postseason, especially in between the longest stretch of you know, days off between Games 2 and 3. I feel like the Milwaukee Bucks just had enough time to adjust. They had the matinee on their side. They had, you know, George Hill back. Like I just feel like when a superstar is limited the way Tatum was, this is when you get ultimately, you know, the battle-tested version of Tatum. And we've seen him bounce back time and time before, but this maturation process that we've seen from him leading into this moment, I think is going to be huge. I expect him to not only respond in a big way, but I think he's going to quiet down the doubters, you know, in terms of how he's going to perform when he's faced with adversity and trying to pull this series 2-2 going into Game 5.
Here's what Hill had to say about how the Bucks have shut down Tatum through that Game 3 where he shot 4-19 just to practice a few minutes ago. What do you feel like you guys did well against Tatum to hold him to 4-19?
I don't know. I think, you know, we just made him take tough shots. It's hard to slow a guy like that down, but anytime you can, like, limit possessions and just make it tough for him on certain catches, getting him off his rhythm and things like that, gives yourself a chance.
So it's on to Game 4. CLNS Media will have coverage tomorrow, starting with shoot-around in the morning. We'll be live from there, so make sure to follow Celtics CLNS on Twitter, Celtics All Access on YouTube, CLNS Media, for the post-game show after. It'll just be one part this time.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe Bobby. I don't know. Let's see what happens if you don't end the stream.
And HelloFresh.com, of course, big reason we're out here in Milwaukee.
Yes.
Blakely, Josue Pavon, and I. Go to HelloFresh.com/playoff16. 16 free meals, 3 free gifts, dozens of options, different styles to suit your diet, and of course, they're going to help support CLNS Media as we continue to cover the NBA playoffs, and we want to support them as well. So go get yourself an easier way to prepare your meal every single night for dinner. Great stuff over there at HelloFresh. For Josue Pavon, Brian Manning, live from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom.
Happy Mother's Day. Love you. And we'll be back tomorrow.